Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I hate loan sharks.
And I'm Claire, and I'm collecting lots of items.
And this is
Make That Game, where we pitch the latest,
the greatest
new video game ideas.
that will never get made.
All right.
That's the intro.
That's the intro. That's what it's been for all 93 episodes.
You can't say won't never, that's double negatives. That
yeah, it's
implies
won't
that
ever.
They will.
It's won't ever get made.
But Anyways. Hey there, folks. We're doing it. We're doing the whole podcast.
We're doing the whole podcast.
And what is that podcast?
That podcast is, it's called Make That Game.
No, we did that part.
Right.
No,
and it's where we
point?
pitch video game ideas to each other to talk about game design. And then we talk about game design even more by talking about an element of game design.
And then we talk about game design even more with rapid fire game design.
Where we come up with
random words.
Yeah, where we come up with game ideas based on random words. So you have a lot to look forward to, listener.
Yeah. If this is your first episode,
welcome to our new microphones.
Yeah, we should introduce that.
We sound great. If this is your first episode, just wait till next week for the next one. You don't have to go back.
Don't listen to the backlog, especially not episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like episode 1's probably fun.
Episode 1 is pretty fun.
But also bad. I had a really bad microphone back then.
I think things kick off around episode 50-ish. Mm-hmm. I think that's when things kick off.
That's when we really found the groove of our format.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped using the mic I used in episode 1 pretty much, I think, after 3 episodes because it was so bad.
Yeah, and now we've got new mics.
Yes.
Max.
Double new. Max. Anyway, that's our podcast. We're going to do it, though, now.
Yeah, do you have a game to pitch?
I do.
Oh,
it's kind of similar. A couple of weeks ago, I pitched one that was, I honestly forget what it was, but I know it was a Rock Band-like.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember specifically.
What we ended up landing on? I don't either.
No, remember, we pitch them and ditch them.
Right.
Everything that we talk about in previous episodes, I just erase from my memory.
Yeah. So
as is protocol.
Mm-hmm. So this is like that again. I'm kind of being lazy, I guess, but it's hard. It's hard to come up with a game idea every week. It's a lot of work.
I have one of these episodes. I did give a number of techniques of how to do so.
I know, and I'm using one now,
Good.
which is take a game that you like and basically reskin it to something else. So what we're gonna do is the Eras Tour the game.
Oh, the Taylor Swift the Eras Tour.
Yes.
Okay.
The Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Well, it can't probably be called that because TMTM, I'm sure. She's notorious for.
In this universe that we're developing, we get a license from her to develop this video game.
I mean, there was. So this is my little tiny tangent, but sometimes I do like to look at the trademark registries for like famous people to see what's going on. And I was looking at Taylor Swift. Did you know Netflix has trademarked the word "ta dumb"?
Oh my God! Are you? Wow. We live in a society.
Yeah. Anyway, Taylor Swift it's a dead trademark, so it wasn't really pursued. Like they filed for it and then like let it go. For Swift Life, which was what I can only assume was a mobile game similar to the Kim Kardashian mobile game. And I'm really sad we never got Swift Life.
Yeah, that would be a time.
Rip to Swift Life. But anyway, so maybe she'd be open to a video game empire, but. The idea here is to take what the Eras Tour is, which for those who don't know, is basically a very long show where she goes through each quote unquote era of her music, which is pretty much defined by each album that she's ever
It's only
produced.
5.5 hours.
It's 3 hours. It's not even 5.5 hours. So how do you make it a game, you may ask? Well, it's just like Rock Band in the sense that you start small, you play shows, you work up to your first album, but then every album after, you have to add that to your show. So it like compounds and compounds to a longer and longer set list. And then part of it too is design. So I'm also going to bring some elements of Barbie fashion show into this, which I have talked about on the pod before, but it was a long time ago.
Okay.
The way Barbie fashion show worked was basically you'd get like a prompt, like make a wedding dress, and then you design whatever, and there's really no scoring at all. But then you have a fashion show and you get to pick like the stage color and like the backdrop, and then your little Barbie will walk in the dress you designed. So in that sense too, part of the game is where it diverges from Rock Band is you get to design the stage and the acts, and kind of like, because a big defining part of why this tour is cool is that each era has a very unique look and like set pieces and costumes, and so that would be part of it. And yeah, so that's the game. So you just go until you have like a certain amount of eras, I guess.
Is the actual gameplay, is it just Rock Band, like the singing and guitar part? Because we haven't really delved into
I think,
the game.
I think
play.
that would be best.
Okay.
I do. Well, but actually, I think because it's more of a pop star game.
Okay.
Right. So it's not as much of a rock band as it's like you're a pop star. So maybe it's
singing
and maybe you can like singing and guitar or singing and piano.
Okay.
That's a lot. You get to pick. You can buy.
Have they made a piano rock band?
You know, now that you say it, I don't.
Because they have the guitar. Like you could,
they have
you
guitar.
could do the
they
guitar.
have guitar. They have bass. They have drums, and they have singing. Yeah, they didn't do piano, which is kind of wild because that wouldn't be
and
too
bass
hard.
is just guitar, like the same controller.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
it's just a different track from like the video game perspective.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
drums,
not in real life, but yes. Although you can play bass on guitar.
I just realized with Rock Band, the drummer could probably sing. Anyone could sing if you have the microphone on the stand.
Right, just like a real band.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, yeah.
So maybe that could be part because, like with the Eras tour, she does an acoustic set where she sings and plays guitar and then sings and plays piano, and the most other time she's singing and dancing. So maybe it's a mix of just dance.
Yeah.
And also part of the design could be setting up like when you use guitar, when you use piano. Like this is designed for only children is what I'll say, because I could live in this world for many hours.
Okay. And by design for children, are you talking about kind of like an adult would be able to see through the ruse and see that the gameplay is kind of shallow? Or...
No, I think an adult would be too embarrassed.
Oh, okay.
No, I said for only children. This is designed for children without siblings.
I thought you meant like this is designed specifically for
No,
children.
this is for like a 10-year-old only child who can go down to their basement and just get lost in a story for hours. No one's going to fight for it. There is no like, I mean, I guess we could add like you could have bandmates and stuff, but like it just does sound a little bit silly that you'd be like doing this whole show with dancing and singing and piano by yourself. But I would. Yeah.
I actually like the idea of if you have like different moves, you could make that as like something that you unlock.
Oh yeah.
Through the story, and then you can choreograph
by
your
getting
own routine.
Like if your routine gets to a certain point, then you can unlock moves. And yeah, I like the idea of choreographing because you don't get that in Just Dance, but it would be actually easy because they have like set moves. Segments.
Exactly. Like
that's
the
so
sachet.
fun.
I don't know dance moves, but I'm just gonna
say
that
is one. So
okay,
you got
the
it.
Sachet. And then if you wanted to be a little goofy with it, you could just do a song that's just a sachet every 10 seconds for the entire song.
That would be goofy, and I don't know if anyone has a house big enough for that because a sachet is like a movement, so you'd just be going farther and farther away. You just continue to move.
Oh, so is it a specific movement? Like you can't like sachet back and forth without like a different
I guess you could, but it just is funny in my head to just think of like a repeated sachet until you're like all the way out of the house. You keep going. But yes, you could go back and forth.
With Bluetooth technology, anything is possible.
Yeah, so that's I mean, I think there should be a multiplayer because I can totally see people wanting to like invite their friends over and play.
And the multiplayer aspect is all of your friends, they get a controller and they are the audience and they can press the A button to cheer.
That's it.
And be the
that
B
is the
button
only
to
child
clap,
stream.
And the Y button to wave their arms.
Yeah, I can.
And you get bonus points if you coordinate the wave.
What I imagine is whatever like kid owns the game, like people come over and then they're like yelling at them like, no, that's not how you do it.
Yeah.
And I do like a fall from grace kind of moment. So like if you're doing too poorly, obviously you like lose out on like elements of your, like you would lose like, oh, you can't do stadiums at a certain size, or you can't do a show that's this long and you have to cut songs because not enough people will buy tickets or whatever. And you have to build yourself back up.
I like the concept, and I don't know if the game would capture this, but I like the idea of the, and I don't know if this is something that you would specifically need to program in gameplay or if this would just be like natural forming, but like if you have a bad era but you still have to incorporate it, and like you have to pick the best of the shiniest of the turd era.
I do like okay.
Like, you've got an era that, like,
I like this.
whatever scoring system in the game,
Right.
like, really hated, like, everything that you
maybe
put
it
out.
was like your first one and you just weren't good at the game yet and you just couldn't make it work. So it's like to be fair, and going back to Taylor Swift,
Maybe there's, like, a revamp mode where, every couple of, like, eras you get a chance to
like, redeem
revamp.
yourself.
Yeah.
So Taylor Swift actually does not play anything from her first album in the new show.
Good.
So, like, she basically has done that. She's like,
Okay.
I don't want to talk
That's
about
not
that
an
one.
era.
That was when she was doing the fake Southern accent, real heavy.
Ooh, boy.
Everyone's wondering how she'll manage that in the re-record.
Taylor's version would not have the fake Southern accent.
I think it'll have just like a slight little folky twang. Anyway, but that's the game.
That's the game.
I would
what
play
was
it.
the name again?
Well, I was just calling it Eras Tour the game. But
Okay,
I think we'd have to not call it that. But
okay.
I really, unless Taylor Swift bought it and made it, unless she made that game.
Unless she, yes. And Taylor Swift, we give you open rights to take that game idea.
Well, I would
Are we TME?
I would just like an email at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com if you're interested in developing this game.
Yes. Okay.
With some of your $1 billion, please.
Yes. Yes.
That's how I'll say that one.
Okay. Send us a nice email, please.
If you're an indie developer, we do give them away for free. If you are one of the few billionaires, we're going to need to have that. We're going to need to have a conversation about that.
Alrighty then.
It's your turn.
It's my turn. I did not come up with a name, so I'm going to call my game the Eras Tour the game as well. And
what if it was? What if you also had a Taylor Swift inspired game? That would be really
it's
funny.
not Taylor Swift inspired. I'm just using the name.
I know, but I said that would be wild.
It would be buck wild that it happened this long after we watched the Eras Tour.
That's true. It's been
together.
A while.
Because if it was like the day after,
right,
it would make sense. It would be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I see where that came from. Anyways, my game idea is an open world first/third person RPG shooter. And so first/third is because at first I was going to say first person, but then I was like, wait, no, I'm imagining kind of like Fallout, but you can play in third person mode.
So like with the option.
Yeah, so it doesn't actually, so it is I guess I just call it a shooter at that point because it doesn't matter whether you're in the first or third person mode. And the gimmick with this one is it's also single player. I should mention that. So single player RPG shooter, open world, which sounds boring. Open world shooter, but we've been doing that for years. My excitement factor is that it takes place on a continent that's under the crust of the earth that's filled with dinosaurs.
Hollow Earth.
Yeah. And
disclaimer: Hollow Earth is not real.
What are you talking? You're going to say Tartarians aren't real?
We can't do conspiracy theories on the podcast.
Fine.
We like to have fun, but Hollow Earth is not real. Okay, continue.
Yes. All right. So, the major thing, so it's Hollow Earth filled with dinosaurs, and the major thing is there are basically two important factions that you can pick between in your playthrough, or you can ride the line of neutrality. One faction basically wants to hunt and commoditize the dinosaurs. It's very Jurassic Parky, where once the Lost World opens up, some people want to preserve the dinosaurs, you can join that side, and some people want to capitalism on the dinosaurs, and you put them in zoos and use them in the military and capture them and hunt them and eat them and kill them for sport and all that. And you get to choose which side that you're on, and it's otherwise you're just generally exploring this continent, picking up quests for these factions, meeting with the native, I was going to say lizard people, but that is very conspiracy, but it's also fun.
To be clear, in Doctor Who, it is canon that there's
Hollow Earth
and lizard people. Yeah.
And mole men, Actually, yeah, we're at the point where this can be one of my famous conspiracy games where it's just like, yeah, every conspiracy theory is true.
Have you done more than just the Tartarian game?
I feel like I've done a couple, but I might have been more subtle with some of the other ones.
Can't be subtle. I like to know what conspiracy has inspired your
Haven't
game.
I done like Bigfoot games and stuff too?
Yes.
I guess that's not really
I don't think of
conspiracy.
that as a conspiracy.
That's true.
Cryptids aren't really a conspiracy. They're something in and of themselves.
That's true. But lizard people aren't cryptids.
No, because
Are
no one's
mole
ever
men?
seen them.
Oh, I've seen some YouTube videos.
Oh, boy.
Where people think that they've seen a lizard.
Write
person.
to us, makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. Are lizard people and mole men cryptids? We'd love to know.
So yeah. I'm trying to think.
So you're playing on a continent inside the earth with lizard people and mole men in a shooter.
And like, I'm trying to think
What the mission is?
No, like the mission is just solving like the mystery of like there is going to be one overarching thing that like ultimately the faction that you choose, or maybe the faction that you choose does play into the like how the game ends. Because I haven't thought that part through, I guess. And I'm also trying to think of like, is there any act? Because I've just described, okay, this is a theme. Like this is Fallout New Vegas, which I've been playing a lot, with a different skin. This could be like a mod of Fallout New Vegas, and I'm realizing that it probably needs something more than like a unique theme or skin.
I mean,
there's got to be some kind of gameplay aspect.
Because we will talk about that in our discussion.
That's true. Okay. You can also ride the dinosaurs. Bam! I did it.
Mounts, we love it.
That's what. Well, Skyrim has it, but Skyrim and New Vegas are different.
Okay.
But yeah, actually, yeah, the ability to like capture dinosaurs or like ally with dinosaurs yourself, and actually like theming it differently. Like if you're on one side of the conflict, like you can do like a harmonious thing with the dinosaurs.
Okay, gotcha.
And that has different advantages and disadvantages versus like the hunters like capture and train and such the dinosaurs, and that has advantages and disadvantages. So like the faction choice does play more into the gameplay rather than just kind of being like a flavor thing for your character development,
and that also we
for
love
your role play.
Replayability.
Exactly.
You play as one faction and then you want to play as another faction. And I did say flaction by accident.
Everyone says flaction every once in a while. But yeah, okay, that's my game. Eras Tour the game.
Nice. Cool. Well, now we are going to have a discussion.
Oh, we're going to talk about stuff?
Yeah, and I kind of foreshadowed it.
Yeah, like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. So we have a goal. We've been streaming once a month every month.
Yes. That's one of the few gaming goals, the gaming resolutions that we said in the New Year episode.
I'm working towards my other one, which is finish Tears of the Kingdom, and I've actually been trying. I'm close.
Folks, she has. I've been trying to beat games.
Yeah.
But I have not successfully done it yet.
No, you haven't.
But I'm trying so hard to get through New Vegas. But there's so many side quests.
And I will say, my goal of playing video games at least once a week has like not happened. So maybe I'll start now. Give myself a sticker when I play so I can track it. That's always more fun. Starting in June. For the last 6 months, I'll try to really keep up on that. It was funny. I was having a conversation at work. I mentioned that goal because we were talking about video games, and they were like, man, I try to make goals about not playing video games. And I was like,
and we're the gamers.
I was like, well, I have a podcast, so I need to. It's important. Yeah. It's research. But we streamed on Saturday.
We streamed on Saturday the 25th.
Yep. And we streamed another Crab's Treasure.
That's that crab game everyone's talking about. That crab Souls-like.
Yeah. And it was really good, I think.
Yeah, it was good.
So we're going to talk about another Crab's Treasure.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted? Are you opening up the floor to me, or do you want to
I can say so I wasn't the one actively playing, so I don't really have a lot of feedback on like controls and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But I did really like it. It had the same tone as Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, mostly because of the tax evasion.
Very capitalist. Very anti.
Also very pollution aware.
Yes.
So I liked that because you play in the ocean and you're collecting microplastics and there's trash everywhere, and it kind of, you can't unsee it. You can't ignore that the ocean is covered in litter.
Yeah. It's actually kind of bleak, but it's also colorful and fun.
Right. Like the design of it is really fun and cool to look at, and I liked that as well. And one really big pro I will say is that it did not make me nauseous.
That is true, especially because the other game by this company
was that
instantly made you nauseous.
Was that going under?
Yeah, that was going under, which also extreme undertones of anti-capitalism.
Yeah.
So I like Aggro Crab Studios.
Going
is
under
what I'm
was
gonna
first
say.
person, and that's why it was...
No, it was third person. It was over the shoulder.
We have different definitions of what that means.
Okay, first person means you're seeing from the eyes of the character.
but, like,
third person is you are not seeing from the eyes.
But there's like two different third persons though, because there's third person where you're like literally right there and the camera's moving really
over the shoulder.
terribly. No, but then like with the crab game, that's third person too, but you're so much further away from the crab.
Yeah.
So that's different to me. That's very different.
Yeah, third person over the shoulder is where it's over the shoulder, like pretty close up. And then another crab's treasure is, I don't know if it has a specific name, but I just call that just third person.
Okay, yeah. So I just wanted to distinguish. Those are two very different things for nausea for me.
Yes.
But also because, I feel like it moved really well. And then I'd only played a very, very small amount of Elden Ring. That's the only Dark Souls game I've played. So I didn't have a ton of like context for how like or not like it was, except for the shells that were the save points. Those I could immediately recognize.
Yeah, the bonfire mechanic. What I will say is the gameplay was very much like an old school 3D platformer, and I don't know if they still make 3D platformers these days.
I mean,
I guess they still do the Mario. No,
the Peach one is probably right. The new Peach game.
There's a new Peach game?
Yeah, the one where she's like in a theater, like Peach.
I've never heard of that.
What?
Yeah.
That was all over everything.
It wasn't all over the circles I run these days. It was probably all over Twitter, but guess what?
Well, it was all over everything I'm in.
Yeah, well, all right. Anyways, so it reminded me a lot of like Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, but also with some Souls-like elements. Specifically regarding the combat. So like the movement was very much, in my opinion, just like a 3D platformer's movement. The fact that you could freely jump around and there was platforming, although I would still define the actual platforming as so far fairly light. We haven't gotten out of the tutorial area yet. As a disclaimer, we are in the first, we've only played 2 hours, so we beat the first two bosses.
Well, that depends how you define the tutorial area, which we could go into, but like to me as a gamer, I mean, I think of this as like still the easy area. Like you're still getting like, you're working into it. Well, I guess since we still just got umami, but
right, that's what I was thinking of.
The true tutorial area to me, it feels like the very beginning where they're like, swim like this, I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, I think...
Because otherwise you couldn't say you ended the tutorial till you have like every single, I guess most people would say that.
Yeah, that's where
I don't feel that way.
I
don't feel that way. I feel like I'm playing the real game the second I know how to like move.
The real game doesn't begin, in my opinion, until you have like all aspects of the core gameplay at least.
Sometimes that takes a long time.
Yeah, some games have
and
very long tutorials.
That's why I don't like to think about it that way. It's not a tutorial.
Fair.
I'm playing the game. You're getting stats. You're upgrading. So, that's still part of the game.
Tears of the Kingdom. Would you what would you consider the tutorial area of Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, see, that's what stopped myself because I was like, it's until you jump off the big.
Okay, that's fair. I would argue that it's not until you get the balloon. What is it? The glider. The glider.
Yeah.
I would say once you get the glider, then the tutorial is officially over.
Yeah, I would disagree because you could also never get the glider.
That's true, but that's a speedrun strat, so...
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if it's a tutorial, they'd make you do it.
Yeah. Not necessarily.
This is a whole nother conversation.
We are... All right.
We can come back to that another episode if we want.
The gameplay itself was... so Dark Souls-likes, in general, I would say, are almost defined by a certain clunkiness, just because they have very... frame-based gameplay. An attack performs, like, it takes a certain number of frames to do an attack before you are allowed to do anything else. So, like, it's very decisive, deliberate, and it can make the pace feel almost plotting at times. Some games deviate from it, like Bloodborne is a little bit of a faster paced Souls-like, but in general, like the main Dark Souls games and like Elden Ring, I would describe as plotting compared to other games. This game, Another Crab's Treasure, I would not describe as plotting. I think that it's very fast-paced. There is a lot of movement. Your attacks are not as slow and deliberate, but they are still like frame-locked and like chain into combos and other things that I would expect from a Souls-like. Just a lot faster, which when I'm in Souls-like brain mode, and the speed was getting to me. I'm already bad at timings in the first place, but especially the first boss, which I died 9 times against, I think. He was attacking so fast compared to things that I'm used to, like especially from like an early game boss in a Souls-like. He was attacking so fast, they were doing so much damage.
Doesn't really sound like a tutorial to me.
Some tutorials throw you in the deep end.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, I did not mean to derail you.
So, yeah, I was trying to dodge, but this boss is clearly designed to be blocked. And as I was talking to somebody else about this, they made it very clear to my idiot brain. This is a cool feature of game design that I completely missed on. You get a shell, which is the block mechanic, like the shield. Mm-hmm. And then the boss, like, almost immediately summons and attacks you. You're supposed to use the shield against that boss.
Yeah, the new thing you just got.
The new thing that you just got. And that just completely... So here is the problem. This is something that I don't think that you can game design against. I don't think that you can solve this with design because this is completely a skill issue on my part.
Okay.
I was so used to Souls-likes from playing Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, blah, 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 that I had already, like... My brain stopped processing what the game was telling me, and I was trying to do what I already knew from previous games.
Got it, yeah.
So, like, I was not paying attention to game design cues because I thought that I already knew better. It turns out, folks, I did not. I was too full of myself. As soon as I switched from...
voice, he did not know better.
As soon as I switched from dodging to blocking,
you did
destroyed
it.
the
it was
boss.
super easy.
Yeah. And part of it is like, yeah, here's a cool game design aspect to encourage like that, to make it so that this is like the block tutorial. They made the attacks extremely hard to dodge. And so eventually, you know, even though I was hitting my head against the wall, eventually I realized dodging isn't working. I need a new strategy. Oh, let me do the thing that they just gave me the item for, block. And then, yeah, it changed. Here's a bad game design thing, in my opinion, and you agree with this. Mm-hmm. In fact, you probably know where I'm going.
I think
I'll let you say it.
Is it the pop-ups?
Yes.
Yes. So the probably one of the worst game design elements in this game, I would say, because most of it we liked.
Yeah.
During the battles, while you're learning, right? Mm-hmm. Pop-ups mid-battle to tell you about a feature. Like, here's how
mid-action.
Yeah, literally, like, you're actively battling, they're running back and forth, stabbing you, and then it's like, did you know when you see this icon, it means he's gonna charge and you can't dodge? And it's like, get out of here. It's very clippy to me.
Yeah, it's buck wild that,
like, do that before it starts. Don't do that now.
Or like there are even ways that you can do that mid battle, right? But not like mid action. Like you can put in a deliberate pause in the action. Like you could have the boss I don't know, stop and like rest for a second, and then the player like is probably not in the, like, what was specifically happening is the boss would be like swinging at me, or I would be moving in for an attack or like dodging away, and then pause, and then pop up, and then it's like, okay, I'm out of my flow now.
It was such bad timing. It was so jarring. It was I think, a poor decision.
Yeah, and like if you're gonna do that with the early bosses, like doing that with the early bosses is fine because it's like still the tutorial, but you do need to like integrate it more into the gameplay. Like,
Yeah.
boss character runs off to some corner of the screen, or like even if they like fully triggered a cutscene, and then
Right after the cutscene, you have like information. I feel like that's a really common.
right, yeah, like the boss, like even if it's just something simple, like it stops the action, zooms in on the boss, he does like an animation, he says, "Roar, I'm really mad now." And then a pop-up comes up and is like, he's about to start using the big attack. When you see this symbol, it can't be blocked. And then when you acknowledge that, you're no longer in the middle of the action. The cutscene is played, it has reset some positions, and you don't have to like go from pop-up mode to oh yeah, I was in the middle of dodging something. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a quirk that happened during the gameplay.
Happened.
That just happened. Everything else was great.
Yeah.
I liked the way that it introduced things. I liked that you could sequence break very lightly twice in the 2 hours that we played. We started like a boss fight or did an area, and then only later did we find the person that like
Yeah.
through dialogue told us to go to
Yep.
the area that we were at. And that's good. That's fine. Like if
That's
I had
open
gotten to
world,
the
that's-
boss
yeah.
area and was like, "Oh, I missed a trigger. I have to go all the way back, talk to a person, and then come back, and then the boss will spawn." I don't like that. But the fact that I could do the thing.
Right. Without the backstory or the trigger or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it. I think one thing, because I was saying this morning, it's a very make that game kind of game.
Yeah.
Because basically at the end of the day, the thesis was, what if Dark Souls but crab?
Yeah.
And then they added their own spin to it, like the story stuff and, the platformer element, which is not very Dark Souls.
No.
But, I think that's cool because it really showcases that as long as you make it like yours, there's really no, like, it's going to be different, right? Like, it's just going to be a different game. And it goes to, I think, any art form where I think a lot of people are afraid, like, well, this has already been done. This isn't new. I'm not doing anything different. But, like, you're making it.
Yeah, don't
so
be
it's
afraid
always
of that.
going to be different
Yeah.
because the person who made the other one didn't make it. Unless you're literally copy and pasting.
Unless you're literally asset flipping, which
Yeah.
is what some people do.
Well, isn't there that Link's Awakening game that looks identical?
Yeah, but I'm sure that the gameplay...
It looks... I mean, yeah.
I need to check in on that.
But
I think that should be out by now, or maybe it doesn't
Okay.
come out till 2025. But yeah, I need to find that again because I was following that with great interest.
So yeah, we do recommend the game. Another Crab's Treasure. And you can watch our stream. We're going to put it on YouTube. I'm hoping it'll be up by the time this launches, but that's debatable.
Yeah.
Gives me less than 24 hours to get it up there.
Oh, revealing you're pulling away the curtain a little bit, letting people see into the.
Usually we don't record this late in the week, but
we don't. No.
we need
Holidays.
Listener, we skipped last week, so you deserve an episode.
Yes.
I did want to quickly say the Peach game it's called Princess Peach Showtime. You haven't heard of this?
No.
That's so surprising
this isn't
to me.
real. It's not real.
Like,
folks, it's not.
Our friend was texting me about it. I talked to listener Megana about it. Like, it was in all my discords
No one has talked to me about Peach.
It was in all my discords that have gaming channels. Like, it was at GameStop when we were buying Kirby items. It was like there was a huge display that said Princess Peach Showtime.
I was focused.
Okay.
I was focused on other things.
I can't actually tell what the gameplay is from looking at it.
I'm gonna have to look it up and see.
There is a demo, so we could try that if you're interested.
Right.
But I've heard good things.
Good.
The one negative was they said that it didn't feel like enough gameplay for a $60 game. But
$60.
yeah,
Video games, folks. We
video
love them.
games. Anyway, it's time for the rapid fire round.
Yeah, I've got the timer ready, but do you want to explain what we kind of already touched on this? We've got 5 minutes. I'm going to explain it. We've got 5 minutes. We generate 3 random words. We have to come up with a gameplay idea and a story and a title in that 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't do that, then we move on anyways.
Yeah, but we do lose and we feel sad.
Yeah, we do lose and we feel sad.
Okay.
So we try really hard to do the 5 minutes.
I'm ready.
All right, I'm starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Develop wealth, tract. This is almost too easy.
Okay. It's a farming
Yeah, you have a tract of land.
simulator. Yeah. And you can buy more tracts of land.
And you develop wealth.
And I think
You
that...
gotta add a twist.
Okay.
This is too easy.
So here's what I think it should be. I think it should be one of them automation games like Factorio, where the idea is that you build up automatic systems to like do everything. And like your task is to continuously build these new systems to more efficiently automate a bunch of tasks because you need like a massive number of resources and stuff. So I think that's it. You are continuously like buying up new lands, adding automation things. And the automation aspect doesn't need to be like machines. Mm-hmm. It could be like people.
Yeah.
If we wanted to stick with like a more modern theme rather than having like autonomous drones and stuff.
Oh, I was going way back to like plebs are needed in Caesar.
Oh, but
that's not modern.
Yeah.
But it could be modern as well.
It could be.
Could be many things.
So yeah, developing the tracts of land to gain wealth. You yourself are not doing the farming, and I think the aspect of like setting up the automation and like setting up logistics, whatever that means, makes it a little bit more interesting than just like a management.
So let's say it is modern then, because we're designing the game.
Yeah.
So in that sense too, maybe like negotiating land, like being able to buy the land, obviously it get like more and more expensive.
Yes. I like the idea of it having a good evil system.
Okay, yeah, I love a good evil system.
You can like try to forcibly extract neighboring farms, like kick the farmers off, like Wild West style,
or
like
you can
muscle
like
them off.
Be really sustainable and like nice and all this stuff. So yeah, maybe you could even put resources into other farms in the area. So instead of like kicking people out, it's like,
oh, like you share.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and then you can like uplift like the entire.
So there's a lot of gameplay
or whatever.
Options.
Yeah, and I like that, and I would like the game to make you feel bad or try to if you're doing the evil route, but still let you do it. But like make it obvious that you are doing a bad thing, so no one thinks that we're taking a neutral stance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On that. Okay. Well, what we're gonna call it, Farmer John. We're gonna call it. I'm getting this land now. We're gonna call it. Here's my land. Huge tracts of land. That's from Monty Python.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea of huge tracts of land.
Okay.
Assuming that's not like a trademarked phrase. I assume that it wouldn't be.
Yeah, that would be wild if
especially
it was.
if we have like a humorous slant to the game. But like that skit is that
it's from the Holy Grail, and it's literally just a phrase they say. They say it one time.
Oh, okay. So there's not like more context that we need to like
I don't think
be into. Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
He tries to refer it's huge tracts of land.
Okay. Yes, it's referring not to actual land.
Right.
Okay. All right. We're being very vague.
Anyway,
but
that's
we
the
know
game.
what we're talking about. Yeah, huge tracts of land, a humorous farming automation simulator manager. Boom, 1 minute and 19 seconds left. I'm going on to the timer for game numero 20. And I'm starting. Oh, and I'm starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Morale, characteristic, minor.
Okay, wait. Minor as in a cave with a pick?
MINOR. Minor key, minor person.
Okay. So
minor amount.
Yeah. All right. So morale, characteristic. This is making me think of wargaming, which is making me think of a city builder or a real-time strategy kind of game.
I will say one of my favorite mechanics in wargaming is the morale check.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's cool. I think it's neat. A lot of games don't do that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that, all right, so like city builders often have characteristics as in like you can click on a person and they have certain stats and maybe personality quirks that would make them suited for specific jobs. And obviously morale is an important stat in a lot of these games, because if any individual person like gets low morale, they might quit your settlement or move to a different city or just not be good at their job or whatever because they're so sad. So having inns and taverns and places for them to like raise morale is important. So like that part is like written out for us. The miner part is weird only in that is such, it feels like a limited scope word unless we use the almost infinite scope of like a minor amount.
Yeah.
But like
we could do like a minor key. Maybe it's a musical element to the game.
So, okay. That would be interesting to try to... okay. I think that would be interesting, yes. And I don't know if this is, like, something that we would actually want to pursue or anyone would want to pursue, but the idea of an actual, like, settlement of children, like Neverland, like...
okay.
Like Peter Pan-ish.
If you sell it that way, I guess.
Fallout 3 had a settlement.
It's just like, who plays this?
Right. So there is that.
I don't know. I think we could do like it's spooky, like because minor keys are like da na na.
Okay. That's a pretty good way of interpreting that.
Okay.
Like the actual music is in minor key, therefore the tone of the game is minor key tone, let's call it.
Okay.
I like that. So, okay, you're colonizing. Okay, and that's why morale is so important, is because it's super spooky woods.
Yeah, so you
like,
have to make it nice.
Yeah, your people get afraid and they leave because it's like the Nightmare Before Christmas woods.
Yeah.
Where like you're colonizing Halloween Town. And okay, I like that.
Okay.
And so setting up like lighting and stuff is very important. It could have a day-night cycle where day is easier and night, like unless you prepare for night, it's really bad. A lot of city builders will have this. Usually like Against the Storm, a city builder I played a lot recently, has like the storm mechanic where you get 2 seasons of like relative niceness and then a storm where morale drops.
Okay, yep.
We do like that kind of mechanic with a day-night cycle in the city
so like
builder.
night is like creepy and
yeah. Okay, I think what's the name?
Right, yeah, we gotta name it. Forest of Nightmares, City of Dreams.
All right, wow.
I will say I think I pulled a little bit of that from ACOTAR. I didn't try to.
Okay.
Because they have the City of Dreams and the Court of Nightmares. So I literally, yeah.
I do like Forest of Nightmares a little bit, but I'm not sure if that really gives you the city builder.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't tell you enough about the game.
Let's say...
I mean, Into the Woods?
Nightmare Fighter.
Well, you're not actively combating the
I mean, you're tangentially combating the nightmare
by making things happy. We do have 15 seconds left.
Okay, you pick one.
I'm picking one. Okay. Let's Forest of Nightmares.
Okay.
Yeah. It's good enough. Well, what an endorsement of it. I think
it's good enough.
If you saw it in a game store, if you walked into game. That's how old I am.
Yeah, you actually always say this. You're like, you walk into a game store and you see this game.
Yeah, and that's the way that I think about it. But I don't think people have physically gone into a game store to browse.
Yeah, like without a purpose.
Yeah, except for like really young children. But like most people are going on Steam, and like they're not even really browsing Steam. Like they've
heard about a game.
They search it. Well. I'm old. I'm a boomer.
We'll just have to have someone make a TikTok about Forest of Nightmares so that people know what it is.
Exactly.
About.
Yeah.
There you go. Solved it.
All right. Last game. Last rapid fire round. One more. You got it?
Yeah.
3,
we're ready.
2, 1. I started it.
Dark, raw, compound.
Dark, raw, compound.
I mean, raw and compound make me think of a cult because there's like, they don't like raw eating is like a thing.
So what's funny is actually this made me think of miners.
Oh,
Mining miners, because you mine raw
materials.
compounds.
Yeah.
And it's dark.
Well, if it's a raw material, isn't it not a compound?
I feel like I've heard the phrase raw compound. Hold on, I'm gonna Google it. And see if this
you
is
look it
real.
up. This is part of it. We have to research.
I mean, thinking about just what the word compound means in this context, I guess. Okay, yeah, this is not anything. Okay. Okay. But okay, here's what it is. You are mining raw materials.
Yeah.
And then you are creating compounds.
Okay.
And again, this is a game.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the gameplay could be a dark level, but the whole game.
Yes.
I love dark levels.
Yeah. Oh, are you thinking of being like an individual like miner? Because I was about to say this is the same game as before, but instead of a spooky forest.
No, you're a miner, and so
Yeah.
you have to go through. You have to navigate the dark caves. That's the dark part, and so it's like any dark level. I love a dark level.
Yeah. It would be a lot like Minecraft.
I've never played Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft, it's all like you do have to be kind of careful when you're exploring about like torch placement and stuff to keep light levels at certain things because monsters spawn in darkness, and like you also use it to like keep track of where you've gone. So it'd be like that,
but the whole game.
It would, yes, exactly. And I imagine that the gameplay would be more focused on that specific experience rather than like the building.
Well, so the building of compounds, I think, would just be off screen. So
right, you would have a menu where you'd be like, I've got 3 things of lead and 1 thing of aluminum.
I don't think because we're not building. It's about exploring the mine in the dark. So I think it would just be like you get a certain amount of raw materials and you like send them up.
Right, the impetus is to sell it.
Yeah, but you're not doing that part. You're just, it's...
Oh, you think that you're just delivering the raw materials and then the compounding is just like off screen, like you get paid for the materials,
like you're told
and then
what
you
materials,
don't care anymore.
Yeah, like
you're just a miner.
Exactly. Like you're told what materials to get, like a menu, and then
okay. So, from a gameplay perspective, like game design, I think that if we have you actually doing the compounding, it gives you like a research tree where like you could unlock new recipes.
But then it's like so complicated, and it's not just about a dark level.
You just want it to be purely
dark level? I want it to be all a dark level. Like, I don't know. I feel like that if you can
you
play...
want to hyper focus on like that is the dark level aspect.
And like, yes, you still can like discover things and things, but I don't know. I just feel like adding all this like other stuff kind of dilutes it.
Okay. All right.
Like
you want an undiluted...
dark level, but you're still making the compounds. It's just like, I mean, you're sending them out. Like you have to get the right ones to send out, and you still discover new things.
So okay, the gameplay loop is you have a base camp, you go into the dark caves, you explore the dark caves, you find areas with resources, collect the resources, bring them back to the base camp, and then send the resources off. And your goal is to eventually get to the bottom of the mine and find the rarest resource.
Or you can like travel to different mines maybe, so like you can unlock like more exciting mines and
there's enemies.
Yeah, you have
in
to
the darkness.
Right, you have to fight off enemies to get the jewels.
Yes, okay.
Maybe the final level could be like a dragon's horde.
Ooh.
A little fantasy.
So Balrog is like in Lord of the Rings spoilers, the Balrog like came to Moria because the dwarves dug too greedily and too deep. So making it so like the end of the game is you dig too deep and now you have like a demon of some sort to battle with to claim your ultimate prize.
I love this.
Yeah. And what's its name? We have 30 seconds.
Into the caves dark, down below.
I feel like Down Below is already the name of a game, but like I also think that it's really good. Okay. It can't be too deep. Maybe it could be too deep. No, that's spooky.
Yeah.
It could just be called The Dark.
Deep dig.
Deep Dark.
Deep Dark.
Deep Dark. 2 seconds left.
Isn't Deep Dark a character?
Deep Dark? Deep Dark? Deep Dark is an overworld biome that generates deep underground beneath areas with a low erosion value in Minecraft.
That's a great name for a game, I guess, but we made a Minecraft game, 2 Minecraft games.
Okay, it should be The Deep Dark.
The Deep Dark.
Probably, as a name.
I thought Deep Dark was a person.
Deep Dark? You think like there's a human being?
I know. It's from the Adventure Zone. Deep Dark is a character in the Adventure Zone. He's basically like Batman. That's what it's from. It's from another podcast.
All right.
That's how I remembered.
And speaking of podcasts, it's about time for this one to end.
Yeah, but if you liked it, we would love a 5-star review on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Or any podcaster.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure only those two have reviews.
But, okay.
But if
any other ones do,
we appreciate it. And word of mouth is always great, so please tell your friends all about this pod.
And your family.
If you think they're cool. And
strangers on the street.
Yeah, just
walk up to people, clasp their hands.
No.
And say, you need to listen to Make That Game a podcast.
We don't endorse touching strangers.
Okay. You need to politely ask them if you can clasp their hands.
And then you can say,
if they approve, then you clasp their hands.
Yeah. And you can also send us an email, makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. We may read your game idea on the pod, or you could give us words to make games out of, or you could tell us a game that you think we should play and talk about. You also can follow us on social media at Make That Game Pod, and you can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MakeThatGame, where we go live at least once a month. And finally, you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/@MakeThatGame, and there you can watch our live stream replays. I think that's everything. So if you did hear a game today that you think needs to exist out there, and especially if your name is Taylor Swift, we encourage you to get out there and make that game.
Wait, unless you're Taylor Swift. She needs to reach out to us.
Yeah.
She's a billionaire.
Reach out directly.
Everyone else, make that game. The end.